We have not yet heard of any official reaction. Of course, all launches of this kind are carried out with prior notification. A special notification system is in place, operating in strict accordance with established international practice. However, generally speaking, the Russian President Vladimir Putin himself, the head of state, has spoken very highly of this major achievement that took place yesterday, this launch. Indeed, this is a very important event for the whole country and for our country's security for many, many years to come. We will certainly continue to modernize and develop strategic nuclear forces, create missile complexes with increased combat power, capable of overcoming all modern and future anti-missile defense systems.
Donald Trump appears to have brushed aside concerns over Russia's most powerful missile system. The development comes amid rising tensions and renewed focus on Moscow's military capabilities. Russia has reportedly tested its so-called ultimate destroyer, triggering fresh global attention. But Washington's muted response is now raising questions over the US stance on Moscow's military moves. Russia has tested what it calls the ultimate destroyer, showcasing its latest strategic weapon capability. But the silence from Washington is fueling speculation over America's response to Moscow's missile display.
Yesterday, Russian President Vladimir Putin was briefed on the successful launch of the Sarmat ballistic missile. Has there been any reaction from the US to this launch, and if so, how is it being viewed in the Kremlin? Thank you.
We have not yet heard of any official reaction. Of course, all launches of this kind are carried out with prior notification. A special notification system is in place, operating in strict accordance with established international practice. However, generally speaking, the Russian President Vladimir Putin himself, the head of state, has spoken very highly of this major achievement that took place yesterday, this launch. Indeed, this is a very important event for the whole country and for our country's security for many, many years to come.
Dmitri Sergeyevich, could you please tell us whether Russia is considering the possibility of cooperating with the US on the Nord Stream project? Should the Americans be able to buy out the European share of the infrastructure? And could Moscow and Washington set up a joint venture to manage these gas pipelines, or consider the possibility of the United States purchasing Russian gas for subsequent resale to Europeans?
The agenda for Russian-American relations could well include a great many mutually beneficial projects in the mutual investment, the economy, and so on. These projects could indeed be highly useful and economically advantageous for both Russian and American companies. As the American side becomes prepared not to link the prospects for the normalization of trade and economic relations to the situation in Ukraine, or as the situation in Ukraine stabilizes and a resolution is reached, we hope that the way will be opened for the implementation of a whole range of economic projects.
In recent days, President Putin, yourself, and last night US President Donald Trump have all stated that the conflict in Ukraine is close to being resolved. Does this mean that negotiations are currently underway, perhaps ones that are not being publicly reported? And what decision must Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky take in order for the special military operation to cease?
In order to bring about a ceasefire and open the way to full-scale peace talks, as the president said back in June of the year before last, when addressing the senior leadership of the Russian Foreign Ministry, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky must order the armed forces of Ukraine to cease fire and withdraw from the territory of Donbass, to withdraw from the territory of the Russian regions. At that point, a ceasefire will come into effect, and the parties can calmly engage in negotiations, which, incidentally, will inevitably be very complex and involve a great many important details. As for contacts, we are continuing our dialogue with the Americans through existing channels. These contacts take place regularly, and as they act as intermediaries, information is also exchanged with the Ukrainian side through them.
Russia says it launched the Sarmat missile with a hypersonic warhead on May 12, marking a major strategic signal. The test has intensified global concerns over a new phase in the nuclear-era arms race. Russia claims the Sarmat missile outmatches Western equivalents with a reported range of up to 35,000 kilometers. Moscow says the system is designed to penetrate advanced missile defenses and strike across continents. Vladimir Putin warned that Russia is pursuing stronger nuclear weapons and a next-generation missile force. The Kremlin says Moscow will continue developing what it calls an unstoppable strategic arsenal.
Thank you very much, dear comrades, dear veterans. I cordially congratulate you on a great, significant event, the 80th anniversary of the establishment of the Moscow Institute of Heat Engineering. Mr. President, I have just introduced you to the history of the establishment of this institute, your institute. I have told you about the stages of its development. Indeed, in May 1946, a year after the Great Victory, a year after the end of the war, the institute was created and became one of the symbols of the country's rebirth after all the suffered, seemingly unfulfilled losses. A new breakthrough became a symbol of a new breakthrough in strengthening the country, of its scientific, industrial, and defense potential. Advanced, truly revolutionary missile technologies were born and developed here at that time, which were overturned without any exaggeration throughout the history of the 20th century. The motherland's reliable nuclear shield was forged together with the specialists of other defense organizations and enterprises. Continuous, intense work has been carried out to determine the future of our people. On this day, I would like to express my special gratitude to the veterans. I bow to everyone who worked at the Institute in the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, and the following years. Thank you very much. As I have already said, we have just examined the exhibition of the museum. They talk about the main stages of creating unique weapons. They clearly show how difficult the first steps were in becoming a new industry, how many non-standard engineering and design tasks had to be solved in a short period of time in the context of a tense geopolitical confrontation and technological race. Thanks to the heroic and self-sacrificing work of several generations of Institute employees, a sovereign school of missile systems was formed, which made an invaluable contribution to strengthening the defense of our motherland. A powerful technological and production effort was made for decades to come. We are still using everything that has been developed in these decades. As Yuri Semyonovich said, there are still some weapons being used. I did not know about it myself. As he said, applications are coming in every year. We are asking to extend it. It is surprising, but it is a fact. Today, your institute is the leading domestic developer of solid fuel missile and nuclear complexes of land and sea base. It is the specialists of the institute, in cooperation with other defense enterprises, we have created and deployed strategic missile systems that are known to the world. Topol-M, Yaz, Bulava 30 are now part of the Russian nuclear squadron. I would like to note that the mobile systems with ballistic non-nuclear missiles are also on duty. They were effectively used in combat during a special military operation. We will certainly continue to modernize and develop strategic nuclear forces, create missile complexes with increased combat power, capable of overcoming all modern and future anti-missile defense systems. I note that you are taking the most active part in solving these vital tasks. You are developing several promising experimental and design topics at once. I would like to thank General Constructor Yuri Solomonov and the entire Institute's team for their long-term, effective work, for the achievements that are very important and significant for our country. There are many tasks ahead. I count on you, dear friends, for your experience, professionalism, and devotion to your motherland. I wish you new success for the good of Russia. And once again, I congratulate all the workers and veterans on their anniversary. Thank you very much. Dear friends, colleagues, comrades, I address you in this way because we have preserved this address in the army, comrades. And, in fact, specialists of your profile are little different from those people who serve their motherland in uniform. In this sense, I do not separate myself from you, from those like you, from such teams as yours, not covered with roses. Why? Roses with thorns. This is true. And you need to be able to bypass the thorns, enjoy the buds of these roses, and move forward and achieve the common result we need in the name of Russia. Thank you. Happy anniversary. Congratulations.